All right, guys, we're back here at the Fontana Village. I'll get to meet Radioactive in person. Y'all have heard me talk about him in just about all of my videos. I met Radioactive, I believe, on top of Blood Mountain. It was like early on in the hike, and we just hit it off. He's a very personable guy. We talked about everything. His quote that I remember specifically, I think I may have even mentioned it, was, "Hey, we come from all different places, but basically we're all carrying the same stuff and walking the same place." So it's nice to meet you. Radioactive, tell me first, how'd you get the name Radioactive?
So while I was doing a shakedown hike last summer, I picked one of the hardest mountains to climb, which was Chihuahua Bald, coming out of the NOC. And I wanted to do, like a 4 or 5 day hike, and I found on all trails that there was a loop hike that did part of the Appalachian Trail and part of the Bartram Trail. So I did that loop trail, but while I was on the Appalachian Trail, I stayed at the Sassafras Gap Shelter just below Chihuahua Bald, and I met a southbound Thru-Hiker there, and we got chatting. He spent the night there, so we were chatting for hours. And he asked me if I had a trail name. I said no. Well, throughout the night, he had, in conversation, asked me what I did for a living. I told him I was retired. He said, "What'd you do before that?" I said, "I worked in the nuclear power industry at nuclear power plants for 32 years. And he said, "Oh my God, you must be Radioactive." And he stopped and looked at me and said, "Oh my God, that's a great trail name." So I adopted it, and that's how I got it.
It's a perfect name. I dig it. What brought you to the AT this year to do your thru hike finally?
Well, I retired 2 years ago. So it's interesting because it all started back in the 1970s when I was in the Boy Scouts. And we used to do tenting and backpacking and all that stuff that you do in the Boy Scouts. And I remember going on this backpacking trip on an old abandoned railroad bed, and we hiked in maybe 3 miles. Now, when you're a kid, 3 miles is a long way when you're carrying a 50-pound backpack, because we did when we were young, right? So we go in, beautiful campsite on this old railroad bed, and I was talking to my scoutmaster about this old railroad bed, and I said, we hiked in here a long ways. He goes, "Oh, this trail goes all the way to Rochester, New York." Well, this was in the southern tier of New York, so to Rochester it was like 99 miles, and I couldn't believe it. And he said, "Blair, there's another trail that starts in Georgia and goes all the way to Maine," and he goes, "It's over almost 2,200 miles long." It blew me away. I was like, "Are you kidding me? And people hike that?" He said, "Yes, people hike that." Well, when you're a kid, it seems out of reach, because you're just a kid, and how are you going to do it? You're going to school, and then when you graduate from school, you get married, you get a job, and life takes over, and not that I'm saying your dreams and aspirations go away, because they always reside in the back of your head. It's like having that bucket list that everybody talks about. Well, it's interesting because throughout my life after that, the Appalachian Trail kept coming into my life, and in weird ways. Like when I got hired at the Ginna Nuclear Power Plant in Rochester, New York, after I got out of the military, I met a guy that had hiked sections of the AT, and he gave me a book on how to hike it. Oh my God, and I read it, and I was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do this ever since I was in the Boy Scouts," and he let me keep the book. Good friend of mine, Tom Callens, he's deceased. He had brain cancer, and he's deceased, but I think about him all the time on the trail. Anyways, I moved to Miami, Florida in 2010. I met some really good people there, and they moved to Virginia after they retired from that place, and I went up and visited them, and we went on a hike, on Crabapple Tree Hike in Virginia, and we hiked to the top of the falls, and my buddy says, "Hey, the trail keeps going, let's follow it." So we followed it up there, and I found myself standing on the Appalachian Trail. There was a big boulder on this old road, and it had a white blaze on it. And I stepped off into the trail about 10 feet, and I said, I'm gonna hike this trail. Someday I'm gonna hike this trail. And that night we went to, there was a brewery called the Devil's Backbone Brewery that a lot of hikers go to. Well, we were sitting around a fire pit outside, and a Thru-Hiker came in, and I sat down and talked to him for hours, and just got a wealth of information from him. And I told my friends, and she was my girlfriend at the time, she's my wife now. I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail someday. That was 2016.
Nice.
And I just started doing day hikes on the Appalachian Trail. Whenever I had a long weekend, I would drive up to North Carolina and just do short hikes. But I retired 2 years ago, started buying gear, started watching YouTube videos like I think 99% of the people do.
Yes.
And here I am. I'm living my dream, and every day is the best day of my life on the Appalachian Trail. This is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's hard to describe the feeling. It just, you're on the trail, and you know that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to come out here and do it. Just incredible.
Yeah, and my next question was actually going to be, I remember also when I first met you, you named like 4 YouTubers that you followed last year, and it was literally like 4 of my favorite YouTubers I followed. So who would you say was your favorite last year?
It's hard. I really enjoy Hawk. His demeanor is incredible when it comes to the trail.
Yeah.
And just, he gets along with everybody, and he detaches himself from society when he goes out on the trail. But he'll talk to people, so he definitely lives the trail life, and he's building a van right now. But if he's hiked the Appalachian Trail 6 times.
Oh yeah, he's a monster, and he is a monster.
He doesn't hike with trekking poles, and I don't know how he does it.
Oh, me either.
But it's interesting because I was enthralled with his videos, but I also watched Quicksand and Ultra Hiking Girl, and there was a mother and her daughter that hiked it.
Yeah, Mommy and Me Adventures.
Mommy and Me Adventures, and oh my God, Goob. There's just a bunch of them that I watched. If you ask my wife, I was glued to the TV on all my spare time.
It's extremely addictive, isn't it? People don't realize you get, like, when you're watching somebody, like I've even kind of noticed with people watching me, they you can just tell they support you and really kind of want to know what happens next in real life. So that is really cool. Oh yeah, special shout out to Radioactive's wife. I met her at one of the outfitters, I think, at Neil's Gap. She was a super sweet lady. They actually offered me to ride into town with them when they didn't even know me this well. So that was awesome of them. Now tell me about Sparky. Sparky didn't want to be interviewed, but you and Sparky kind of hit it off out here, hadn't you? Y'all are good trail mates.
Yeah, so it's interesting. At Amicalola Falls, I started on the approach trail. I wanted to do that, even though I had hiked up the stairs before. Anyways, that morning that I signed in, I walked out back so my wife could take pictures of me at the arch, and my wife had made me a little tag that says Radioactive on it so people could identify me, and I could identify my backpack because I figured I'd meet people with the same pack, same boot pack. So I wanted to be able to identify it. And this guy came up to me and said, "Are you Radioactive?" And I was like, "Yeah, how did you know that?" He goes, "Well, number one, you've got a tag on your backpack that says Radioactive, and Ramdino, who has a YouTube channel, he provides trail reports weekly, and he said, I heard him call your name out that you were starting today." He goes, "I'm glad to meet you," and we introduced each other, and his wife was there, and he took off through the arch and continued on up the trail, and I stayed back at the arch. I was rearranging some things, and just my wife wanted to take more pictures and some videos, so he got about an hour start. And when I finally took off, eventually I caught up to him, and we hiked all the way up to Springer together and just got to know each other. And my wife was supporting me the first 4 days while I was on trail. She happened to be picking me up at the trailhead, so I didn't have to stay out. She was originally going to hike to Neil's Gap with me, but she got plantar fasciitis. She still wanted to support me, and I said, "Why don't you pick me up at the trailheads? I'll take a 0 in Helen on Thursday with you, and then Friday you can drop me back off and we can say goodbye." So that's what we did. So I did text Sparky and say, "Hey, I'm getting back on trail on Friday. I'm not sure where you are at, but I'm going to try to catch up to you so we can hike together." And sure enough, that day, I had told him where I was going to hike. And when I got there, he wasn't there. I walked around that campsite, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I said, there's something told me. I said, he didn't like it either.
Yeah.
And he continued on, but I didn't know how far he went. So I hiked another 20 minutes, and there he was, and he was so excited to see me. And he's just a good guy. He was an electrician for 40 years. That's how he got his trail name.
Yeah.
I really wish he would come and interview because he is an interesting person, and he's just a great hiking partner. And You know, I'm a little stronger than him. He's only 2 years older than me, but I did a lot of prep work before I came out here, but I appreciate the speed that he's going, and I'm going his speed because I'm not missing anything, and I want to go slow, and nothing is stopping me from going slow. I don't have a job. I'm retired. I can take as much time as I want, and my wife supports me in that. So my plan is to summit Katahdin with Sparky.
Nice.
So I hope it works. You see me keeping my fingers crossed.
I feel good about it. In fact, we ate lunch together today, and I was telling both of y'all, I said, I think y'all are the best team I've seen out here. Like, I've seen you really click together, and I feel like y'all got a good chance to go far.
Yeah, we have a lot in common. It's interesting what we found out about each other.
It's kind of cool that we've all everybody that kind of started in a similar, day, several day period, we all kind of meet up out here. Like, I think I met Sparky maybe before you. Yeah. Because I thought he was going to be somebody else we were supposed to camp with that night. So I met him at a campsite, and I think I met you maybe the following day even.
Blood Mountain,
and then he knows him and Hot Moose, Radioactive. We're all kind of like a big group. Every time we meet somebody a couple of times, you get to know them a little bit, and even if we're not exactly all family, we all keep in touch and kind of help each other out, which is good.
That's right. We do keep in touch. We all exchange phone numbers.
I told somebody, I said, we're kind of like Ultra Hiking Girl says, like a virtual family kind of.
That's exactly right.
We're watching out for each other. But like I was telling them earlier today, I said, everybody hikes a different pace, so it's hard to find somebody, but it looks like you guys have kind of found a good niche for each other. What's been your hardest experience out here so far? Although I know you have a really good attitude about things, so you may not have had a really super bad experience.
I'll tell you this. The trail is physically demanding, and there are some hard mountains to climb. But if you're prepared and you're both physically and mentally prepared to tackle those mountains, it really, I don't want to say it isn't difficult, but it's easier to get to the top of those mountains. And I mean, there's Chihuahua. That's the third time I hiked up Chihuahua Bald. I've done it 3 times now, and that's 8 miles straight up.
Tough.
And it is a tough climb, but you just got to go slow. Elbert Mountain was tough because that was at the end of our day. It was a 12 or 13 mile day for us, and we both of us had 3 liters of water on us because we wanted to camp up there. Those are choices that you make as a hiker, and every day on the Appalachian Trail, though, is just a new experience. And other than the difficulties of it, it's just climbing those mountains.
Yeah, but I agree with you. The physical aspect, especially, because there's a lot of things you can't train for. Like unless you do a through hike, you can't train for being in the wood 30 days in a row or hiking 30 days in a row. But like as far as getting in shape and walking and trying to generally get kind of prepared in that way, it's very helpful to kind of have that kind of under your belt at least a little bit before you get out here dealing with the camping, the elements, the gear decisions, and all that type of stuff. Which I noticed we have a lot of the same gear, so I know we watched some of the same YouTube videos and things.
Yeah.
So have you been surprised? One of my surprising things out here is the number of people I've seen that are really unprepared, just as far as carrying like 90-pound packs and things like that. And it's kind of, I feel bad for them, but like you kind of got to do some research too before you come out here. I don't think this is something you can just come do on a whim.
Yeah, I agree. And you've heard the mantra, hike your own hike. You hear it all the time, and you do see these people with these heavy packs, and you relate to them based on what you're carrying. So it's usually like, oh my God, or how are you doing it so light? It's winter. How are you carrying such a light pack? Or why are you carrying such a heavy pack? And I've had some friends send me some pictures of some people with just ridiculous stuff on their packs, and it's hike your own hike. I don't know why you want that stuff, but it's a lesson that they'll learn on the trail if they're strong enough to carry it and they make it to Katahdin with it. I want to high five them and say that was awesome.
Absolutely. I know. I mean, the ones I've seen early on, they had the big packs. They're either not here anymore or they have dropped some of their weight somewhere. Like every time you stop, like if you stop and talk to Bill at Neal's Gap or at Mountain Crossings, like he may just forcibly take some stuff out of your pack and throw it in the trash for you, which is a good thing actually. So anyway, I appreciate you sitting down with me for a minute, Radioactive. I've enjoyed hiking with you guys and wish you the best of luck. I'm sure I'll probably be seeing you in and out. every time I say goodbye to somebody around here, I always end up seeing them again. So, you know.
It's interesting too, you know, because you get a day or two ahead and you're like, man, I hope I get to see this person again, you know. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, and that's part of the trail, you know.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is when you do exchange those phone numbers, you're only a phone call away, brother.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I told the people that asked you've especially helped me because you guys have been ahead of me, so that gives you a good chance to like kind of give me tips about what's coming up, what's good, what's bad. And I told them today, I said I hope I'll get ahead of you at some point so I can return the favor in that aspect at least. So
for your viewers, I really wish Sparky would have interviewed, but he's very camera shy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing for his videos because the way he records videos, I've never seen videos like that on YouTube.
Yes, his videos are awesome.
And it's all about the trail to him, and it's all about the trail to me too. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about me being on the trail and me experiencing the trail. And I think that's why we get along so good together, because we have that same, what do you want to call it? That same feeling for the trail. It's like, oh, I'm
same
stopping
kind of
and
mindset.
taking pictures of fungus on the trees, and it's like, you know, I'm posting a video a day on my Facebook page and some pictures.
Oh yeah,
that
tell
I take
them
through
how
the
to
day.
see that.
So if you're interested in seeing my Facebook page, you just have to look me up. It's under my real name, Blair Emerson, BLAIR EMERSON. If you friend me, I'm probably gonna ask Russ if you know this person, because I just don't want to accept everybody's.
I definitely can't account for all 5,000 people on my Facebook page, but most of them are cool.
Yeah. So you know, because it is my personal Facebook
But is it?
page.
Are your videos public?
I'd have to go into my settings. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, if you make them public, then you don't have to be friends with everybody. They can still just see those posts.
When we get done with this video, I'll have you.
And I linked your page in an earlier video. I'll do it again here, and I'll link Sparky's YouTube channel because it's
folks
very
have to
good.
Check out Sparky's.
Yeah, all you people
YouTube.
that are complaining to me that I don't show the trail enough, if you watch Sparky's and mine, that'll be a perfect compliment.
Yes, you're exactly right.
His stuff is awesome. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we do. We keep up with each other's videos and stuff out here too. I watched one of M's earlier, saw Radioactive on there. So
yeah, I know. I commented about that.
Yeah, she's been doing some good video work too. So anyway, may see you tomorrow, may see you 2 days, may see you in Vermont. We don't know, but I'm sure I'll see you again somewhere.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, sir.
Hey, thank you very much.
I appreciate it.